Rain hammered the streets of Atlanta like a relentless warning. It was late May 1981 when Officer Freddie Jacobs leaned over the Chattahoochee River Bridge, flashlight cutting through the mist. The water below rippled, dark and heavy. Then, a splash. A sound that would change the city forever. Minutes later, headlights flared in the distance. A green Chevrolet station wagon rolled past, and Jacobs radioed in the plate number. The driver's name would soon echo through FBI halls: Wayne Bertram Williams. For nearly 2 years, Atlanta had been living in fear. Between 1979 and 1981, more than 28 young black children, teenagers, and a few adults vanished. Their bodies appeared in woods, under bridges, and along back roads. Most were strangled. Some were dumped near rivers as if the killer wanted to wash his sins away. Parents clutched their children tighter, afraid to let them play outside. The city's streets, once filled with the sound of kids playing, fell silent. The Atlanta Police Department was overwhelmed. At first, no one wanted to believe it was connected. "Boys go missing all the time," one detective had said early on. But soon, the pattern became impossible to ignore. The victims were all black, mostly male, mostly from poor neighborhoods. It wasn't random. It was deliberate. The FBI's Behavioral Science Unit, newly formed and eager to prove itself, joined the hunt. Agents flew in from Quantico and set up base inside a cramped, smoke-filled office downtown. Coffee cups piled up beside stacks of autopsy reports. Photos of missing children lined the walls. A crude map of Atlanta was pinned with dozens of red markers. Each one another life taken. Agent Roy Hazelwood looked at the board one night and muttered, "He's hunting. These aren't just murders. This is control." But finding the man responsible was like chasing a ghost. No fingerprints, no witnesses, only traces, green fibers, dog hairs, a few carpet threads. Each discovery felt like a clue, then dissolved into frustration. The killer was careful. Too careful. Community tension exploded. Activists accused the government of neglect because the victims were black. Rumors spread that the Ku Klux Klan might be behind the killings. Protesters gathered outside City Hall, demanding answers. Meanwhile, the FBI quietly explored every theory, from racial hate groups to organized rings. Nothing fit completely. Then came that night on the bridge. When the splash echoed and Wayne Williams' car was stopped, agents finally had a thread to pull. Williams was a 23-year-old local music promoter who dreamed of discovering young talent. He lived with his parents in a quiet neighborhood. On paper, he seemed harmless. But when agents questioned him, they noticed his nervous charm. His words were slick, his answers rehearsed. "I didn't kill anybody," Williams said calmly during his interrogation. "I'm just trying to make it in this city like everyone else." But the fibers told another story. Carpet strands from Williams' home matched fibers found on several victims. Dog hairs from his German Shepherd matched too. The FBI lab's results tightened around him like a noose. When he was arrested, Atlanta exhaled in relief. For the first time in years, no new bodies appeared. Parents finally allowed their children outside again. The mayor announced, "We got him." But peace didn't last. In court, prosecutors connected Williams to the murders of 2 adults, Nathaniel Cater and Jimmy Ray Payne, both found in the river. The jury listened as forensic experts explained the fiber evidence. The case was circumstantial but compelling. After 11 hours of deliberation, the verdict came: guilty on both counts. Wayne Williams was sentenced to life in prison. Reporters swarmed the courthouse steps, calling it justice. The FBI declared the Atlanta child murders solved. But many people, including some inside law enforcement, weren't convinced. Years later, retired agents began speaking out. "We closed the case too quickly," one said in an interview. Others believed political pressure forced the FBI to find a suspect fast to calm public outrage. The mayor wanted peace, the press wanted closure, and Wayne Williams, young, black, slightly eccentric, fit the narrative. Then came the whispers. Files leaked showing that, before Williams's arrest, the FBI had been investigating white supremacist groups. One report mentioned that several victims' families had received threatening phone calls from known Klan members. Yet those leads were suddenly dropped. The Bureau later said it was because the evidence didn't connect them to the murders. Still, to many, it felt like something was buried. Inside prison, Wayne Williams never confessed. "I didn't kill those kids," he told a journalist in 1992. "The truth's out there, but no one wants to see it." He continued to file appeals, all denied. But outside, his story took on a new life, spawning documentaries, books, and conspiracy theories. Some believed multiple killers had been at work. Others thought the government had used Williams as a scapegoat to stop a racial uprising. Even the FBI's own files showed unease. An internal memo from 1981 read, "There is insufficient evidence linking Williams to all child victims. Investigation should remain open." But it didn't. As years passed, new forensic technologies reignited interest in the case. DNA tests were run on the old fiber samples. The results were inconclusive, neither fully clearing nor condemning Williams. The state refused to reopen the case. For the families, the pain never faded. Camille Bell, mother of 9-year-old Yusuf, spent decades demanding answers. "They told us it was over," she said softly in one interview. "But my baby's killer was never proven." In 2019, Atlanta's Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms ordered a re-examination of the evidence using modern technology. The announcement stirred old wounds. Reporters crowded the steps of City Hall again, cameras flashing like the old days. "If we can bring peace to even one family," the mayor said, "it's worth it." Inside the cold archives of the Atlanta Police Department, sealed boxes labeled Child Murders 1979-1981 were opened for the first time in decades. Old fibers, photographs, and reports were laid out under bright white lab lights. But even after the re-examination, no new arrests were made. The truth, it seemed, was still trapped somewhere between science and silence. In the years since, the case has become a symbol of racial tension, flawed justice, and the dark corners of American history. Some historians call it one of the earliest examples of media-driven justice, where fear and politics overshadowed facts. Others believe Wayne Williams was guilty of more than anyone ever proved. Today, he's in his 60s, still behind bars at Telfair State Prison in Georgia. When journalists write to him, he replies with careful, typed letters. "I'm still waiting for the truth," one read. "One day, it'll come out." Back in Atlanta, the old neighborhoods where the children disappeared have changed. New homes stand where abandoned lots once were. The bridges are quieter now. But for those who lived through that time, the shadows never really lifted. Each year, on the anniversary of the first murder, candles are lit in memory of the victims, children whose names are now etched into stone, but whose stories remain unfinished. The case taught America that evil doesn't always wear a mask. Sometimes it smiles, shakes hands, and disappears into the crowd. And when the rain falls over the Chattahoochee River, locals still say you can hear echoes, soft, haunting splashes in the water, as if the city itself remembers what it lost.